episode of Creative Writing Advice with me, JJ Barnes. If you don't know me, I'm JJ. I am the author of How to Write a Story, which is out now on Amazon. I take you from the beginning all the way through to the end of your story, plus everything in between. I always say this, but the world needs more stories, and I want to try and help make yours one of them. So over here on YouTube, I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm just taking different examples and talking about them, breaking it down, hopefully teaching and encouraging you to find the confidence to write your story. So today I'm going to be talking to you about how to write magical schools. Now, you'll probably be aware of this, but if you're not, I'll explain it anyway. In fantasy stories, mostly urban fantasy, but it doesn't have to be, they are often featuring some kind of school or establishment where the magical people, the witches, the wizards, the whatever you're writing about, can congregate. Your Harry Potter is the perfect example. I mean, I'm sure that's the first one that springs to everybody's mind. Hogwarts. So this is a frequently occurring thing, and I'll explain why. If you are writing urban fantasy where you have got certain people that exist in the normal society, and they don't have to transfer somewhere else to experience the magic, if it's all right here where we are, they have to find a way to coexist with the non-magical normal folk, the muggles of Harry Potter world, right? We all have to be able to coexist because we're sharing a world that isn't somewhere separate, which means you have to artificially create somewhere separate. And the reason it's important and works really well in your story is if you're going to have them using their powers, using their magic, you know, training like Professor Xavier's mansion in the X-Men, like studying magic like in Harry Potter, you need somewhere that's private and safe, because if you can't do it just in a sports hall in the middle of town, because that might be a great place for a football team to meet to practice, or even like a drama club, but it's not going to be a great place for a bunch of people to meet to like do magic or transform into monsters. It's not. So you need somewhere that is separate and removed from society in some way. In Nature Girl versus Worst Nightmare, it's Miss Sparkle's Academy for Magical Children. In Lily Prospero and the Magic Rabbit, it's Adamantin, which is a research facility. It's not a school. It's more like Professor Xavier's mansion. It's where grown-ups and young people go to study and train and develop their powers and work together. It's a really good idea, and it works really well. So what you have to do is basically tend to base it around the events of your story. If you are telling a story just about children, a school is a perfect place to go. Find a way to make it somewhere safe and secret. Now, this could be sticking it in the Scottish Highlands like Hogwarts, or it could be by just having it protected by magic so that people can't see it unless they're magic, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But find a reason it's safe, find a reason it's protected, and put them there. And then they can have their stories and their adventures without having to leave our world. So you want to give it some kind of structure. It needs an authority, you know, someone who's in charge, because you need to have it protected, you need to have it guarded, it needs to be somewhere people are organised. So for instance, in Lily Prospero and the Magic Rabbit, Karen Archer, she's in charge, she is responsible for that facility. An authority system, a power system, means that you have people who are brought in from outside, rules that have to be followed, and usually somebody will make those decisions. It could be like a council, that's fine too, but a headmaster in Hogwarts, or headmistress in Nature Girl, or yeah, somebody who runs the facility in Lily Prospero and the Magic Rabbit, it doesn't really matter, but somebody is responsible for keeping that facility safe, for organising the people inside it. And then you can have a lot of fun with like, what's the inside of this place like? What do they do there? Like, are they for educational purposes, which is like in Harry Potter, it's a school. In Professor Xavier, he's a school, but he's also training them essentially to be superheroes. He's not like just teaching them maths. He's got grown-up mutants there who are, you know, Wolverining around the place, saving lives. You can do whatever, it doesn't really matter, but you have to have some reason that they are there, some purpose for keeping them there, for having them invested in being there. And educational or research, something that improves them as people, lets them use their magic, lets them get better at magic, is the perfect thing. Yeah, so do that is my advice. let your characters in your mundane world have somewhere secret and private that they can go to develop and use their powers. Because if they're just hiding them all the time and maybe using them clandestine, like in a forest every so often, I mean, you can write a story about that, but you kind of need to be able to grow it out a little bit, because that's fine if there's only a couple of people who have got magic. But if you are writing an entire magical or mutant or, you know, society of people who live amongst us, like Men in Black is the same, right? You've got the big facility where they can function. They have to disguise themselves out in public, and then it's all very mysterious and like trying to disguise what they are and who they are. But once they get to that place, they can then be free. So if you're writing a story with only 1 or 2 people who have some kind of power, then it's fine, like you can keep it small. But if you want to have a magical structured society that exists within our world, you need to create some kind of establishment, because they would. Society would do that. We all do that, right? We all have, we have like an exclusive club. You have the tennis people in the sports club, they play tennis and they only play tennis. And the hockey people don't go and join the tennis club because they're hockey, right? You've got different sports are separated out. So it's the same with society, like subcultures, if you essentially, like you have your clubs, you have your people who listen to metal music don't go into the disco club, because they are only interested in the metal music. It's the same sort of thing, but society will create subculture spaces that are safe places for that subculture to exist separate and exclusive from the rest of society. And that's good. Like, exclusive isn't like a bad thing, it's a good thing, because you're allowed to have a space for just you. So give that to your magical society and they will then flourish and thrive, developing their powers. There. So thank you very much for watching another one of my videos. I will be back again soon. If you go to my website, which is jjbarnes.co.uk, over there you will find links to the books that I've talked about. Not all of them, obviously I didn't write the X-Men or Harry Potter, I wish, right? You'll find links to the things I've done. There's also, you can subscribe to this channel. I put out a video every Monday, Wednesday and Friday teaching you different things about writing. And oh yeah, drop a comment below. What is your favourite example of this in story? What is your favourite magical facility embedded within a mundane world? I'd love to hear about it, because there's loads, there's so many of them. It's a really common trope and it works brilliantly. So thank you very much for watching. I will be back again soon. Bye.